Have you ever sat around the dinner table and thought, what's next for us as a family? Retirement may feel like the closing of one chapter, but it can also be the start of an entirely new one. A family bucket list is more than just trips and check marks. It's about weaving together moments that may shape the stories your kids and grandkids will tell years from now. When it comes to creating a family retirement bucket list, the most powerful step is simply inviting everyone into the conversation. Too often, these lists are imagined as personal wish lists, one person jotting down their dreams and hopes. But retirement, especially when family is close by, can be the perfect time to open the floor and let everyone's voice matter. Imagine sitting in the living room with grandparents, adult children, and even grandkids, all tossing around ideas. A teenager might dream of hiking a local trail. A son or daughter may suggest revisiting a childhood vacation spot. And a grandparent might mention something as simple as teaching the next generation how to bake a family recipe. When these different perspectives come together, the bucket list stops being an individual checklist and becomes a shared mission. The beauty of this approach is that it honors each stage of life. For seniors, retirement is a chance to reflect on what they've always wanted to experience, but may have postponed. For adult children, it's about blending those dreams with what feels realistic and meaningful now. And for grandchildren, it's a chance to see that their voices count in shaping family memories. Including everyone in the discussion sends the message that dreams are not limited by age, and that connection grows deeper when people feel heard. There's also something bonding about the process itself. These conversations often spark stories. A grandparent's idea of visiting the seaside might bring up childhood memories of taking the train there decades ago. A grandchild's suggestion of recording videos together could lead to laughter about how technology has changed. In the act of sharing, families don't just plan for the future, they relive the past and appreciate the present. Practicality enters the mix too. With all voices heard, the bucket list naturally balances itself. Larger dreams can sit alongside smaller, everyday joys. Not every item has to be a big trip or a costly experience. When teenagers suggest fun, low-cost ideas, or when parents bring up practical concerns, the list grows realistic while still being exciting. This shared curation makes the list something that feels achievable rather than overwhelming. Inviting everyone in also creates accountability. When the whole family contributes, there's a gentle push to actually follow through because each idea carries weight. And over time, revisiting the list together keeps the conversation alive. What started as a family brainstorm can become a living document, a reflection of how everyone's dreams weave into one another. When families sit down to create a retirement bucket list, the first thoughts often drift toward dream adventures, traveling to faraway countries, seeing famous landmarks, or taking that long-awaited cruise. These are wonderful aspirations, but the list becomes even more meaningful when it balances those exciting experiences with values that reflect who the family really is. Retirement is not just about going places. It's also about deepening what matters most and leaving behind a sense of shared purpose. Think of it this way: a trip to Paris or a visit to the mountains may create breathtaking memories, but pairing those adventures with moments rooted in values adds a richness that lasts far longer. For example, imagine a family planning a vacation together and also setting aside a day during that trip to volunteer at a local food bank or community project. The thrill of travel remains, but it is now layered with the memory of giving back as a family. Those kinds of moments become stories that children and grandchildren remember not just as the time we traveled, but as the time we made a difference together. The same balance can happen at home. Cooking together may not sound as glamorous as a trip abroad, but it carries values of connection, tradition, and legacy. Passing down a treasured family recipe, perhaps one that has been prepared for generations, creates a sense of continuity. The act of kneading dough alongside a grandchild or tasting a dish that sparks stories of the past transforms a simple activity into a treasured entry on the bucket list. These smaller, value-centered experiences may not cost much, but they often hold more emotional weight than the grander items. By blending adventures with values, the bucket list also becomes more sustainable. Not every family has the means to chase big-ticket goals all the time, but everyone can engage in meaningful actions that bring them closer together. The mix ensures that the list feels both exciting and accessible, while reflecting what the family stands for. In the end, a retirement bucket list filled with both experiences and values tells a fuller story. It celebrates life's big adventures while honoring the lessons, traditions, and bonds that make a family unique. This balance ensures that the list isn't just about where you've been, but about who you are and what you choose to leave behind. Creating a memory fund is a simple yet powerful way to make a retirement bucket list come to life. Many families are used to budgeting for bills, groceries, and household needs, but joy often gets pushed aside as something to think about. If there's money left, shifting that mindset and treating shared experiences as worthy of their own small savings plan sends a strong message. Memories are just as important as obligations. The beauty of a memory fund is that it doesn't have to be large or complicated. It could start with a jar in the kitchen where everyone contributes loose change, or a small monthly transfer into a separate savings account set aside specifically for family activities. Even a few dollars here and there add up over time. What matters is the intention. By labeling the fund for memories, you are carving out space for joy rather than leaving it as an afterthought. This practice also has an unexpected effect on family dynamics. When children or grandchildren are invited to add to the memory fund, even with small contributions, they feel a sense of ownership. Imagine a teenager slipping in their babysitting earnings or a grandparent adding a few extra coins each week. Later, when the family uses that money to fund a picnic, a day trip, or tickets to a local show, everyone feels proud knowing they helped make it happen. The experience is no longer just something that happened to them, but something they actively built together. The memory fund also reinforces the idea that financial planning isn't only about security, but also about balance. Bills, healthcare, and retirement accounts are essential, of course, but so is carving out space for laughter, discovery, and time spent together. By saving intentionally for both responsibilities and joys, families teach younger generations a valuable lesson. Money is not just about survival, it's also a tool for creating connection and happiness. Over time, the memory fund can become its own tradition. Families might decide to open it once a year, vote on how to spend it, or dedicate it to a specific bucket list item. Sometimes it will go towards something big, like a weekend getaway, and other times towards something simple, like buying ingredients for a family cooking night. Either way, it transforms saving into a shared ritual, proving that planning for joy deserves just as much care as planning for bills. Including everyday moments in a retirement bucket list may not sound as exciting as world travel or once-in-a-lifetime adventures, but these small joys are often the memories that linger the longest. A family might forget the exact details of a big vacation, but they'll remember the laughter around the kitchen table during a game of cards, the smell of a favorite meal cooking on the stove, or the warmth of hearing an old story retold for the 10th time. Everyday moments carry a different kind of magic, one rooted in comfort, intimacy, and repetition. Board games, for example, are simple but powerful. Sitting down for a game of Scrabble, chess, or even a silly card game opens the door to conversation, laughter, and healthy competition. These small traditions don't require travel or a large budget, yet they create rituals families look forward to. For grandchildren, it's not just about winning a game, it's about associating those hours of fun with time spent alongside grandparents, building bonds that may outlast even bigger adventures. Cooking together is another everyday moment that deserves a place on the bucket list. Preparing a family recipe is more than following ingredients, it's storytelling in edible form. A grandmother teaching her granddaughter how to roll out dough, or a grandfather explaining the trick to seasoning a stew brings family history alive in the kitchen. These experiences nurture more than appetites. They preserve traditions and create a sense of belonging. Each time a recipe is shared, it's a gift passed forward, ensuring family identity carries on. Recording old stories is one of the most underrated treasures. Retirement often provides the time to reflect, and capturing those reflections on paper, audio, or video ensures they aren't lost. A grandfather recounting his first job, a mother sharing how she met her lifelong friends, or siblings laughing over mischief from childhood, all of these become heirlooms in their own right. Years later, younger generations may find comfort and inspiration in these recordings, connecting them to loved ones they may not have fully known. Everyday moments remind us that a bucket list doesn't have to be about chasing faraway dreams. It can be about savoring the beauty in what we already have: a deck of cards, a favorite meal, a shared memory. By honoring these simple joys, families make retirement not just a season of ticking off big goals, but also a time of deepening bonds through the ordinary miracles of daily life. Weaving traditions into a retirement bucket list brings a sense of continuity that makes the journey feel grounded and meaningful. Big adventures are exciting, but it's the traditions, those familiar rituals repeated year after year, that give families an anchor. When a grandparent decides to include Sunday lunches, an annual camping trip, or even a simple storytelling night, they are not just filling space on a list, they are strengthening the threads that tie generations together. Family lunches, for example, may seem ordinary, but their consistency is what makes them special. Sitting down together every week or month creates a rhythm of connection. The food might change, the stories may vary, but the act of showing up reminds everyone that no matter how busy life gets, there is a place where they belong. Retirement often frees up time to make these gatherings more regular, and they become milestones of togetherness that younger family members will come to treasure. Camping trips, whether simple backyard setups or visits to favorite spots in nature, add an adventurous touch while still keeping tradition alive. The smell of a campfire, the sound of laughter under the stars, and the retelling of the same campfire stories create a sense of timelessness. For children and grandchildren, these trips become part of their personal history, blending adventure with the comfort of repetition. A camping trip on the bucket list isn't just about the outdoors. It's about marking time with experiences that feel both familiar and fresh. Storytelling nights may be the most underestimated tradition of all. Gathering in the living room to share old memories, read family letters, or laugh over childhood mischief has a way of uniting everyone. For seniors, it's an opportunity to pass on wisdom and humor. For younger generations, it's a reminder that their family story is still being written and that they are part of a larger narrative. Retirement gives the chance to turn these storytelling moments into cherished rituals that may one day be carried forward by children and grandchildren. By weaving in traditions, a retirement bucket list moves beyond the idea of new experiences only. It becomes a blend of the familiar and the fresh, honoring what has always mattered while still making space for new memories. These traditions act as the glue of family life, reminding everyone that even as dreams expand and adventures unfold, the rituals they share are what keep the family heart beating strong. Thinking about legacy when creating a retirement bucket list shifts the focus from just what can be experienced now to what will continue to live on after. Retirement is often a stage where people naturally reflect on what they've built, the lessons they've learned, and the values they hope will guide their children and grandchildren. Adding legacy-centered goals to a family bucket list ensures that the memories made are not only enjoyed in the moment, but also carried forward as part of the family's story. Passing down skills is one of the most practical and heartfelt ways to leave a mark. It could be teaching a granddaughter how to garden, showing a grandson how to fix something with simple tools, or sharing the secret to a favorite recipe. These small acts of teaching are powerful because they carry more than just knowledge, they carry identity. Each skill passed on is like a thread woven into the fabric of the next generation, connecting them to those who came before. Writing letters is another legacy act that doesn't cost anything but creates priceless treasures. A grandparent might write to their children about lessons learned in marriage, or jot down memories of their first job and how it shaped their outlook. Letters written with love and honesty may one day become sources of comfort, guidance, and connection long after the writer is gone. Unlike digital notes that can be easily lost, handwritten letters often become keepsakes, carrying both words and the physical presence of the writer's hand. Creating family scrapbooks or memory albums is another way to ensure stories are preserved. Collecting photos, captions, recipes, and even ticket stubs turns ordinary items into a family archive. Sitting together to build the scrapbook can itself be a bucket list activity, one that sparks laughter, storytelling, and appreciation for the journey already lived. Later, when younger family members flip through those pages, they will see not just faces, but the love and history that shaped their family. Legacy-centered goals remind everyone that the bucket list is not only about adventures to check off, but also about meaning to carry on. By teaching skills, writing letters, or creating scrapbooks, families ensure that retirement years are not just a time of enjoying life, but also of planting seeds for the future. In this way, the list becomes more than a plan for now. It becomes a bridge across generations, one that keeps the family spirit alive long after individual moments have passed. So when you think of a retirement bucket list, imagine more than places to go. Picture it as a family blueprint for laughter, lessons, and legacy. If you were to start a family bucket list today, what's the very first thing you'd put on it? Share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your ideas. And if this video sparked something in you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more ways to keep family bonds and retirement plans meaningful.